We were getting to a place where the Attorney General and I were both going to have to testify and talk publicly about it, and I wanted to know, was she going to authorize us to confirm we had an investigation? And she said, yes, but don't call it that, call it a matter. And I said, why would I do that? And she said, just call it a matter. It gave the impression that the Attorney General was looking to align the way we talked about our work with the way a political campaign was describing the same activity, which was inaccurate.
All right. Did you hear that? It was in the live coverage yesterday, but I defy you to find much coverage of it, not only in the media last night, but, of course, in the follow-up print media today. That's the former FBI director saying to Loretta Lynch, the former attorney general, that whole little dust-up over the email thing, that was a matter. It wasn't an investigation. Washington Free Beacon contributing editor Daniel Halper noticed it glaringly. What did you think of that?
I thought it was a pretty astonishing revelation. It really indicted the Obama administration for their handling of this whole thing. And it's really odd, if you step back and think about it. The Obama administration really got sort of scot-free as far as criticism goes in regards to this investigation. And really there's a lot of blame to go around. In fact, Hillary Clinton was a cabinet official when she was using the email. So the whole thing sort of, because she was a candidate, the criticism landed on her squarely, but really it should have landed on the president himself for allowing a cabinet member to do and to conduct such conduct, and as well as for Loretta Lynch, to do such things. I think it's pretty astonishing and really revelatory.
You know, what's also revelatory is the pattern of it here. Now, obviously, if you're the FBI director, you answer to your immediate boss as the attorney general. You don't do his or her bidding, in this case, her bidding. But that's sort of like the pecking order. But it occurred to me a little more than a few weeks later. Comey was apparently getting the first wisps of Russian potential involvement in the election. It might have been limited, but enough that it would warrant them doing something, stating something, putting out a statement, or he putting out something in a newspaper column. And President Obama himself reportedly nixed it, thinking that it would compound things, or that Hillary Clinton looked assured to win the election anyway. What do you make of just the Obama administration's role then in these two very interesting developments?
Well, it's funny because to that point, it would seem if you're Hillary Clinton's campaign now, or the campaign in whatever it is, in whatever form it's now currently in, dissolved someplace across the country, it seems like you could blame President Obama for not handling the Russia thing correctly to begin with, not putting attention on it, not condemning it initially and just sort of letting it simmer. But also with the Loretta Lynch, because she met with Bill Clinton on the tarmac, you know, they like to blame Bill Clinton, or they like to blame Comey for the loss, but really, you could easily blame Bill Clinton for the loss if you're going to go down that road, because Bill Clinton put himself in that position with Lynch, which then resulted in Comey saying, well, I can't then turn my...
on the tarmac, right?
Exactly. I can't then turn my results over to Lynch to adjudicate fairly. I have to go to the public myself. Now, we can criticize that decision, but that's what happened, and that's what influenced him, according to his testimony yesterday. And I think you could squarely blame Obama for Hillary Clinton losing, or Bill Clinton for Hillary Clinton losing, very, very convincingly, or at least just as convincingly as you could, you know, all the other factors that Hillary Clinton has found to blame.
Now, you know, when you heard Comey talking about Russian involvement, and he has no doubt that there was Russian involvement, he has no doubt that it's offensive and patriotic, not the thing to do, etc., he did not say that it tilted the election. He did not say that it changed the results of the election, but that is always an underlying theme among many Democrats who argue that if not for that, Hillary Clinton would be president today. But that is not at all what he said.
Right. In fact, many Democrats go even further, suggesting collusion. I don't know what the theory exactly is, but suggesting maybe Trump even worked with the Russians to leak this information. That's what collusion would be. So, yeah, we don't have any on-the-record testimony from any high-ranking officials backing up those points at all. If anything, yesterday's testimony weakened that case, though, of course, it wasn't good for Donald Trump by any means in many other regards.
You know, and I know you were following many aspects of the campaign, but the one thing that struck me as I was listening to Comey and his views of the president, thinks that he's a liar, had to write copious notes to keep track of conversations because he didn't trust the president. Had he not been fired, this is the same man who would have been spearheading this investigation into collusion, presumably what role, if any, the president might have had. And he hated the guy, didn't trust the guy, didn't like the guy, shared that with other FBI agents and investigators. And I'm thinking that would not have been a very fair and balanced investigation. So that kind of interested me. Had he not been fired and the FBI were continuing this ongoing investigation, to what end?
But of course, I mean, that's all true. But we don't know also Bob Mueller's personal views of Donald Trump. We don't know a lot of people's personal views on these things.
But that seems a very tight fraternity, and you wonder if they share views. And given the effusive praise that Comey had of Mueller, you do wonder whether that is leading to something here.
Yeah, look, there's a convincing case to make for Comey to have been fired. Where it breaks down, and the problem that the president's having is the way and the timing of the firing. If he had come in and done it, and just fired him, the day after inauguration, I don't think anybody would have cared that much. Although people would have still complained more than they're admitting now. Or if President Trump had waited for this internal Inspector General report that's being worked on in the Justice Department to come back, which a lot of people think will be negative toward Comey, he would have had an opening then. That's how President Bill Clinton fired his FBI director after an Inspector General report came back that was negative on the FBI director at the time. So it's the timing that really messes him up.
Even a deeper pickle with the guy who succeeded him, who was far, far worse.
Right, and even had to go in to get his personal DNA sample. I don't think we're there yet. I don't think we will get there.
Not there yet. Daniel, great stuff as always, my friend. Have a safe weekend, Daniel Halper.
Thank you.
All right, in the meantime, we've got